Let's be honest. Most event content that gets recorded never sees the light of day. I'd go so far as to say more than 90% of it never makes it out into the world. And when it does, it's usually just a full-length recording of the general session, something most people won't sit through. And that's a shame, because inside those recordings are some of the most valuable stories, insights, and ideas your company or the company you work for could ever share. Today we're going to talk about how that problem comes to be and what we can do about it. Welcome to the Echo Chamber. So what actually happens to all that content? Here's the typical cycle. Your team works tirelessly, the event runs beautifully, and the cameras capture everything. The footage gets downloaded onto a hard drive. Maybe it ends up on a Dropbox folder, and then it just sits there. Sound familiar? Now, it's not because that content isn't valuable. It's actually just the opposite. The real issue here is bandwidth. By the time an event wraps, the whole team is exhausted. After weeks and even months of planning, no one has the energy to dive into hours of raw footage. And honestly, these recordings can be massive. The last event I worked recorded over 5 terabytes of footage. For reference, 5 terabytes of footage is like recording an entire TV network's programming for a month, or streaming Netflix nonstop for over 100 days. Sorting, editing, polishing, that's a heavy lift. Most teams simply aren't built for it. So everyone moves on. The next event, the next campaign, the next milestone. And what's left behind is a treasure chest of content that never gets unlocked. Here's why that's a missed opportunity. Marketing teams spend months developing content strategies, scripting, storyboarding, creating campaigns from scratch. But sitting on that show hard drive, already polished messaging, executive presentations, talking points, carefully crafted stories that work great for your business. The problem is no one's going to sit through an hour and a half of raw video, just like a general session recording. That's just not how people consume content today. But if you break it down into bite-sized formats, clips, blogs, podcasts, graphics, suddenly your audience is re-engaging with those same ideas long after the event is over. That's not just smart, that's super efficient. If you're an event planner, an account manager, or a show client, you've probably felt this pain point. You saw the value of your event, you heard the applause in the room, but afterwards, you just don't have the time or team capacity to repackage it. And here's the kicker. While your team moves on, your audience does too. Without ongoing content, the buzz fades fast about your event. What could have been months of engagement ends up as just one day. Here's the core problem. Companies are investing huge amounts of money into events, but not maximizing on the return content those events produce. The footage exists, the ideas are already captured, but the system to make anything useful out of it isn't there. Until that changes, event content will keep ending up on the shelf instead of in front of potential customers or your associates where it belongs. If this sounds familiar to you, if you've ever seen your event content fade away, it doesn't have to be that way. Let's make sure your content gets the audience it deserves. Check out makeitecho.co.